When you think about ancient instructions, it's easy to just see a list of rules, right? But today, we're diving into something different. We're looking at one of the most detailed blueprints ever recorded. And this isn't for some palace or a fortress. It's a plan for a portable sanctuary, a home for God. So let's get into this and see how these instructions reveal not just how to build something, but the profound purpose behind every single detail.
I mean, seriously, what a question, right? If you were given that job to build a physical space for an infinite divine being, where would you even start? What materials could possibly be good enough? What would it even look like? Well, the source material we're exploring today doesn't shy away from that question. In fact, it provides a very specific answer, laying out an incredibly intricate and deliberate plan.
So before anyone even picks up a hammer or weighs an ounce of gold, the text tells us the why, the ultimate motivation for this whole monumental project. And it's not just about building a monument for its own sake. There's a much deeper, much more personal reason at the very heart of it all. And there it is. That's the whole point. The ultimate goal isn't just to have a place for God, but to create a space so God can be among the people. This one phrase just completely shifts the perspective. It's not a construction project anymore. It's an act of relationship building. It's all about divine presence, not just a physical building.
Okay, so how do you even kick something like this off? Well, the very first command God gives to Moses is fascinating. It's not start building. It's a call for contributions, asking the people of Israel to provide all the raw materials. But, and this is a huge but, there's a very important catch.
And wow, just look at this list of materials. We're not talking about sticks and mud here. We're talking precious metals, gold, silver, brass, these incredible richly colored fabrics, fine linen, special woods, oils, spices, and even onyx stones. I mean, these were not cheap or common things. This was a request for the community to bring their absolute finest, their most valuable possessions.
And this brings us to what might be the most important instruction of all. Get this. Despite the incredible value of all the materials requested, the real prerequisite, the true currency, is internal. It's a willing heart. The source is crystal clear that the offering is only to be taken from those who give it freely and sincerely. The attitude behind the gift is valued way more than the gift itself.
So with all these materials gathered from willing hearts, we've finally moved to the plan itself. And let me tell you, this is no rough sketch. It's described as a meticulous, divinely inspired architectural design, a pattern shown directly to Moses. Every single detail is specified, leaving absolutely no room for improvisation.
The blueprint is broken down into several key parts. At the very center of it all, you have the Ark of the Testimony and its cover, the mercy seat. Then you have the whole structure of the tabernacle itself, and finally the outer altar and the court. Let's start with the most sacred object of them all.
The Ark is the absolute centerpiece. The instructions are incredibly specific. It has to be made of this durable desert acacia wood, shittim wood, but then it's completely covered, inside and out, with pure gold. It even has gold rings and poles for carrying it, which, by the way, are never to be removed. And its purpose? To hold the testimony, the commandments God is going to give. And this just brilliantly explains the Ark's true function. On top of the Ark sits the mercy seat, basically a lid of solid gold with two golden cherubim. And that spot right there between the cherubim is designated as the exact point of communication, the meeting place between the divine and the human. So the physical object is explicitly designed to be a conduit for that relationship. All right, so let's pull back for a second and look at the bigger picture here. When you study a blueprint that's this detailed, you start to learn about the architect, right? The instructions for the tabernacle are way more than just a manual. They're almost like a self-portrait, revealing the character of the one who gave them.
The repeated command to make them after their pattern is so key. Nothing is left to chance. The precise measurements for the curtains, the exact number of loops, the specific metals for the hooks. This demand for exactness points to a God of order and precision. It suggests a nature that's meticulous, deliberate, and intentional in every single detail.
So if the blueprint reveals God's character, it also kind of establishes the ground rules for how humanity is supposed to engage with that character. This isn't just about building something. It's about understanding the principles of the divine-human relationship. And, based on everything we've seen, you can really distill this whole relationship down to three core principles of engagement: the willing offering, precise obedience, and sacred separation. Let's just quickly break down what each of those means. First, the willing offering. We saw this at the very beginning. It establishes that any approach to the divine has to start with the heart.
It's a principle of internal devotion over just, going through the motions.
Next up is precise obedience. If the heart is the starting point, this is the action that has to follow. It implies that honoring a God of order means engaging with that order through careful and exact faithfulness. It's about demonstrating faith through your actions.
And finally, there's sacred separation. The blueprint calls for a veil to divide the holy space, creating a physical boundary that symbolizes a really awesome spiritual reality. It establishes a principle of reverence and deep, deep respect for the divine presence.
So here's the bottom line. When you put it all together, the call for a willing heart, the demand for precise obedience, and the creation of a sacred space, you realize this isn't just a construction manual. It's a foundational document. It's outlining the terms of a relationship between God and humanity.
And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. If every instruction, every measurement, every single material choice in a blueprint tells a story about its designer, what does this incredibly specific, beautiful, and demanding plan ultimately reveal about the nature of its divine architect?